I can't get in.
Needs, whether it's basketball, baseball, NFL, or the.
There you are.
Yeah.
SB.
Just wondering. Like, what, you're just going to send me sound and not join? Is that how we're doing
No,
it
I
right
kept
now?
pushing the button, but I was sending sound. I didn't realize that it was after 11. I was like, wait a second.
I just
But
thought
the other
maybe
one
that's-
wasn't working either.
I thought that's how you were rolling today. It's like, we're just going to play sound
No.
for 2 hours.
I've been here for pushing buttons for 10 minutes. The same button, of course. Hoping this would be the
To
one,
make
like
sure
a lotto.
you get the best experience. And if you're coming back, sign up for free Culture Map updates at culturemap.com.
You're going on a trip, but where are you going to stay? How much will it cost? Well, it'll cost
Did you hear
less by booking on besthotelrates.com.
They hear what?
Hold works with all the top hotels in the country while delivering you great hotel and room choices for the best prices. Why wait? Go to besthotelrates.com, enter your email.
Do you hear that
address,
feeding
and
back
start
to you?
shopping for
No.
besthotelrates.com. It's in the
Which Jordan comment did you want? Did you want defending his Republicans wear Nike?
No,
shoe?
not that one. It's the one that is tagged something with him defending not being a politician, and then Obama's upset about it, I guess.
Oh, just the okay.
It's just that one cut in the prep.
Yep, gotcha.
Did you see the one on Seinfeld?
Welcome to the second.
I'll grab that one too.
Oh, no, I just didn't know if you
SB
saw it.
Nation
Did you
Radio.
watch it?
And on SB Nation Radio.
Yeah.
Okay.
Where we go
I just didn't know if
beyond
you-
the box
if you caught
score.
the Seinfeld.
Presented by Rocket Mortgage by Quicken Loans. Rocket Mortgage is with you every step of the way. From the O'Reilly Auto Parts Studios, here's your host, Eitan Shander.
What a weekend. And now we head into a Monday. News that Don Shula, the NFL's all-time winningest coach, passes away. It is, I think, interesting to look at the legacy that now was Don Shula on and off the field, everything that surrounded winning, perfect season, something that carried over for years, decades, right through the Patriots losing in the Super Bowl. Talk to me when you get in my own backyard. Shula himself was the orchestrator, the mastermind behind a lot of things, including, of course, the perfect season. And for somebody like me, for example, who's 41, will be 42 of this year, you always look at somebody in the summer right before the season starts. I'm a late birthday, but this is where I'd want to see, and hopefully there is some footage, because NFL Films with the Sable family has done incredible work documenting through film, stills, orators, storytelling, everything that you get of all encompassing the history of the league. So I'm sure there's a ton of footage on Shula. That would be one where I think somebody in my age range could really benefit from knowledge, really firsthand knowledge of people talking. It's one thing, and it's been around because the perfect season, as I mentioned, has come around anytime somebody is 13-0, 14-0. We saw with the Panthers season. Patriots was a big one, just heading into the Super Bowl, of course. But other teams, even at 9, 10, 11-0, we drum up this conversation. Shula was more than just the all-time winningest coach and one of the most successful steakhouse owners in the country. He left a really big legacy with the Miami Dolphins and was synonymous a lot with what Dan Marino and a couple of other legends were able to carve out. It would be an insane, not even a 30 for 30 so much. It's like, what's happening here with The Last Dance? This is the new bar for documentary. I don't want 30 for 30s anymore. I want something as in-depth and detailed as The Last Dance on Don Shula. And look at the coaching tree and all of the different things he's impacted in the NFL.
Hi, I'm Jay Farner, CEO of Quicken Loans and Rocket Mortgage. During these challenging times, our commitment to providing you with the best mortgage experience remains. We understand that hardships may arise, and we're prepared to help. Mortgage rates remain near historic lows. If you think that now is the right time to refinance your mortgage, our home loan experts are available to help 24 hours a day, 7 days a week at rocketmortgage.com.
Call for cost information and conditions. Equal housing lender. Licensed in all 50 states. NMLSconsumeraccess.org, number 3030.
Over 2.5 million airline passengers fly every day in the United States. Those passengers depend on reliable airplanes, and those planes need certified aircraft technicians. That's where you come in. We are the Aviation Institute of Maintenance, and we train tomorrow's technicians. We train our students hands-on with real aircraft, develop their skills, and prepare them for real jobs in the industry. The Bureau of Labor Statistics reports the average aircraft technician in the United States makes over $62,000 a year.
The job opportunity is there. The money is there.
If you want to work with your hands, it's a perfect place for you.
Call 800-876-0097.
I'm very impressed with the AIM curriculum. The school's keeping pace with the demands of the industry.
The potential for growth is astounding.
At the Aviation Institute of Maintenance, we train tomorrow's technicians.
800-876-0097. 800-876-0097.
Auto Accident Help Desk is a marketing agency connecting callers with attorneys. Providers pay a fee for advertising services.
I love getting my kids ready and driving them to school.
But a careless driver can change your life in an instant, and insurance companies want to settle on the cheap. Auto Accident Help Desk connects victims with powerful lawyers. They fight for you.
I called Auto Accident Help Desk and got help for my pain and suffering.
Don't let an insurance company take advantage of you. Our attorneys fight and beat big insurance every day.
Call 800-528-6859. 800-528-6859.
If you've been injured in an automobile accident in the last 6 months, you owe it to yourself to make this free call with no obligation. We're available 24/7 to help you get the money you deserve for your pain and suffering.
It was fine. I didn't do anything.
No, why not?
Tony wasn't on today.
Oh, who was on?
528-6859.
Mike Guido.
859.
So what did you do?
528-6859.
Push buttons.
Mike Guido didn't bring you in?
From time to time.
He did a 3-hour show without talking. Did he have like 6 guests?
Basically, we do.
No, he had no guests.
He's just talking to himself for 3 hours?
Pretty much.
Boy, he must be crammed up, not talking to anybody for a month or so.
Maybe. He kept going through he brought a bunch of lists with him.
No.
You know, breaking down draft, breaking down top teams of the week or whatever.
What do you mean by lists? Like
top 10 this, top 10 that?
Oh, okay. I'd much rather talk to you.
Well, I would much rather you talk to me. I mean, he brought me in from time to time, so of course I would interject, but it was just
sure. But you can't have lists and all that going on.
Yeah.
Scratching beneath the surface. It's the second level on SB Nation Radio.
And on SBNationRadio.com.
Presented by Rocket Mortgage by Quicken Loans. From the O'Reilly Auto Parts Studios, here's Eitan Shander.
I feel like I should ask. I'm not positive, but I feel like I should ask because rarely is ever anything not calculated. Rarely. That doesn't mean never, just rarely. Should I be looking for a theme today? This does feel like a little bit of a departure from what you would normally play for your wheelhouse and mine, which is vastly far apart. I get it, and that's why I bring it up.
Nah, no theme. That's
okay.
Just
it's just how you're feeling today.
There might have been technical difficulties. We're not 100% sure what happened here.
No problem. Just curious. I don't want to miss anything. I don't want it to be 12:48 Eastern time and. You know, Shander, you missed something pretty obvious today. It was
no.
Okay.
I'm not saying it was Skynet's fault because this time it probably wasn't Skynet's fault.
Okay. Remember before that, what would we say? Ghost in the Machine? What did we say before T2? I think it was that, right?
know.
There's a gremlin. There's a gremlin, and that's what it was.
Gremlin, or did you blame Hal?
Well, yes, Hal. Hal is a go-to. Now you might be dating yourself. I tried to walk that middle line of gremlin, but yes, you could go back.
Dating, it's a classic.
You can date yourselves with classics. Michael Jordan is teetering on becoming a classic, isn't he? Like Homer in the Odyssey.
He already is a classic.
Timeless, be that as it may. All right, let me throw two things out. Well, I want to get thoughts from Ron and you and everybody who's following along at Shander Show, at Ron 2Ns Culver. We're live on Twitch as well, twitch.tv/Shander Show, so you can follow along the stream. If you were doing that yesterday, then you saw the entire set where I am just fall back. It looked like, who fell off the stage? Was it Bob Dole who fell off the stage? It looked like that when I was doing my show yesterday. Everything just completely was chaotic and caved in. So if you're watching, you get a nice little visual of it. There are two things that popped, if you will, from a rather quiet NFL weekend. And the first, I think, has some legs in what's going on in Pittsburgh. The second is kind of like the discussion about what's happening with the virus, where you're getting the same type of discussion and you're not really getting the true data that's going to move anything forward. We're circular at this point. We're waiting. Scientists, medical people will tell you we still need to collect more data. Politicians to economists to just average people like you and I are saying, no, we need to get back to work, or no, we don't. We all have opinions and thoughts. But until we actually have something conclusive, it's rather circular. And that's the second thing that came, which is just more of Cam Newton reminding us, and I have no problem with it, that he's not signing to be anybody's backup. The first that I thought was kind of surprising, if you just look at it on its surface, is this report out of Pittsburgh that they have no plans whatsoever to sign Juju Smith-Schuster after this year. He'll be 24 heading into the season. Healthy, one of the best younger receivers in the NFL. You can look at some rookies or second-year guys now in the league after a rookie year and start piling people up. But he's seasoned at the very least.
Are they a little scared now? Maybe a little shell-shocked that once a receiver becomes really good,
he's just going to want out?
They start to get a little bit of too much of an ego and then go to that dark side.
Well, there was only like Santonio Holmes. That didn't really happen with him, right? It was really just Antonio Brown, I feel like. Or we may not have enough data to determine who's the outlier, right?
No, I mean, I would say Smith-Schuster is probably a safe gamble.
He beefed, though, a lot. He beefed pretty hard with Antonio Brown.
Well, yeah, but I mean, I don't know if that was all. I mean, there's two playing that street or two playing in that fight, you know?
Well,
that was Juju. I mean, I can't blame it all on Juju.
No. That's what I'm saying. I actually look at that as a sign of sanity. If you're taking on Antonio Brown's insanity, I look at that as a sign of sanity. I actually looked at that as a positive mark.
Yeah, when all he wanted was just guidance. He wanted direction. He wanted Antonio Brown to be his mentor, like we do with a lot of these quarterbacks who take on what the Packers are probably hoping with Aaron Rodgers and Jordan Love.
Which is not going to happen.
No, it's not going to happen. Right. But that's what Juju was looking for in Antonio. It's just like, just guide me.
Yes. And
just
now
show me how to become you, because you're the best. You're the GOAT right now. I want to be like you.
And now you have this organization that is basically saying, nope, we're not likely. That's the report. I'll read it to you verbatim.
If he has a good season.
Well, here's the thing, though.
They'll sign him.
Yeah, that again, it takes two. And if you're Juju Smith-Schuster and you maybe have a good season, but the Steelers don't, and you are now able to go on the open market, you can command as much as any wide receiver. You'd be the top or a top 3 paid free agent in the open market. And now you can look around and let's talk some things through. It might not be Aaron Rodgers because the dead cap money would require him to stick around the following year, but there could be movement, or it could just open up. A team could open up all of a sudden, San Francisco, Lamar Jackson in Baltimore. All of a sudden, you start to look around at quarterbacks. Maybe Tampa has a spot for you all of a sudden, and you can catch some passes from Tom Brady. Point being is that if I'm Juju Smith-Schuster and I'm not getting and I have to go out after I've done what I've done for this organization and have a show me, prove it year, I'm looking at that as resentment, and I'm looking at that as, get out of here. I can go and play anywhere. Maybe the Steelers, and here's the thing, why would the Steelers not be comfortable signing him long-term? There isn't really anything outside of concerns with health. The fact that you're looking at, or at least something like this is being reported, tells me that they're interested in at least fielding any type of offers, because Smith-Schuster is a good enough player that some team out there, and you know what? I hope it's my team in Philadelphia. I hope to goodness the Eagles would make an aggressive move and trade for and then re-sign Smith-Schuster. But outside of health concerns, I don't really know why you would point to him and say, yeah, he missed 4 games last year. Is that enough? That was a year after he had 111 catches. He had a down year last year, but who didn't on that team? That team stunk last year from a consistent offensive production standpoint. They were 8-8 by the grace of everything other than quarterback play. Rudolph, Hodges, Roethlisberger played, a game and a half? It was it. You can't count on, this is what happens a lot of times with wide receivers who have questionable years when they're catching passes from guys who are lucky to be on D1 teams due to circumstance, injury, or just a really bad recruiting year or two. Juju Smith-Schuster comes on at 24 years old, healthy this year, as one of the best young wide receivers, under 25, whatever term or age group you arbitrarily want to apply here, under 20, 24 and under. He is one of the top young talents, if given an opportunity, where you can now pair him with another guy if you have the money to bring him in. And that's why I think the Steelers, for whatever reason, and I don't know why, I wish I had enough inkling, I would say, in that locker room, because there isn't anything that you would point to like self-destruction like Antonio Brown, but they have done this countless times with wide receivers. It just seems like it's really early. But outside of that, they must realize that there is a break, that there is a divide. And maybe Smith-Schuster has told them, I'm going into my final year and I don't want to sign. It could very well be the case in which Smith-Schuster goes up to, or through his agent, to the organization and says, this is it, guys. I'm out. I know that you've tried. I've tried. I look at what we have here. How can you expect me to have any faith in the quarterback position right now moving forward? And for that, I don't necessarily blame the Steelers. If that were the case, I wouldn't blame the Steelers for trying to dangle him out there and see if you can get any trade offers. See if this year maybe a team would be interested or desperate, depending on the circumstance, reach out, offer up something, because if you're the Steelers and you're left holding nothing and Smith-Schuster's holding the bag somewhere else, people are going to look around like, look, this was not 33-year-old Juju Smith-Schuster. This is not a guy at the end of his rope. All of a sudden, you need to start finding a backup plan. That was the first thing. The second one came with Cam Newton reminding us, as it's been over a month now, I know it feels like it's been forever since anything has happened, that he and the Panthers parted ways. He's now a free agent. But maybe I should ask this first before saying what I will. Is there anything that you would really point to outside of injury that would mandate Cam Newton is no longer a starting quarterback? Doesn't mean he has to be a top 5 quarterback. Doesn't mean he has to be a top 10 quarterback. You can find circumstances in the NFL where he can even step in and beat out bottom third, if you will, third tier level quarterbacks. So outside of his health, I don't really know what it would be that would hold a team that could use even a 1 to 2 year stopgap, as we've seen that happens countless times when you're looking to just hold on. Bears are doing that, knowing that Trubisky's out. They have a backup that they can at least count on for a stretch of a season. Cam Newton doesn't want to even play that role where it's like, come with a wink and a handshake to Vegas. You can beat out Carr, but we'll just, for the purposes of it. Now, that was my conspiracy theory over the weekend. So I'm curious, looking at everything with Cam Newton, look at the variables here. Cam Newton's still a free agent. We know that outside of health, there's nothing that would really hold him back at all from being a starting quarterback at this time. And again, you can be the starting quarterback on Jacksonville. You can be the starting quarterback on a bad football team. That's fine. But I'm just saying, starting quarterback versus taking a backup role. And just because he didn't sign in New England doesn't mean that he can't be a starter elsewhere. So you have Vegas. Now, I believe Vegas is eligible. There are going to be 2 teams this year once the NFL comes back on Hard Knocks. So Vegas is, a lot of these teams are eligible. You would have Vegas. I know they did it before with the Raiders, but you would have Vegas first off season there. You would have the variables, the dynamics, if you will, of Gruden, Mayock, Carr, Newton, the whole crazy, bizarre off season, how this virus has impacted everybody, including NFL players, coaches, and GMs through the show. That's the entire series, right? Like that's it. That's the whole season. It's just focusing on those 4 people with all the things happening around them. I don't care. I don't know if you would, but Nelson Aguilar making the team, that doesn't really jump out to me as compelling television. But I would say that if that was a Hard Knocks, I haven't watched the show in a while, that would bring me back. The chaos orchestrated. You think it's bad with Phil Jackson? My goodness. Gruden and Mayock devising ways to torment the mind of Carr as Newton steps in and wins a job that he won based on signing a piece of paper. Now, I don't know how realistic that could be, but it's already happening in my head, and I love it. I might watch it later on today in my head. Go for a walk, take the dog, and just zone out and have that go for about 30 minutes. Nice 30-minute episodes. You have, 6 episodes for a season? That's it. Making the team, not making the band with Puffy, but making the team with Cam. At Shander Show. Twitch.tv/Shander Show is how you can follow along on the stream. At Ron 2N's Culver on Twitter. I was going to say Twitch, but Twitter. Xavier Pope's going to join us 15 minutes from now. We're going to play a cut from The Last Dance coming up. Actually, 2 cuts from The Last Dance coming up. One, Michael Jordan talking about some really serious stuff that got a lot of people upset, a lot of people talking. So Xavier Pope, noted national sports legal analyst, social and political analyst as well, will join us to talk. He's Chicago native, born and bred. So it's going to be great to get a little insight into what Chicago was like and is like now with the airing of The Last Dance. But talking mostly about MJ not caring about politics and people right up to former President Obama having issue with that. And the other cut is a complete 180. It's one of the most vulnerable moments you'll hear, and hopefully you saw, of Michael Jordan in this documentary to date. And it has nothing to do with letting your guard down or weakness or anything like that. It has to do with Jerry Seinfeld. It's the second level.
Game Time Decisions.
What's up, everybody? I am Gabriel Morency inviting you. No, I'm not inviting you. I'm telling you. Join me and the Raging Redhead Cam Stewart weekdays at 6 Eastern as we throw it down on the loudest station in the nation, SB Nation Radio. It's Game Time Decisions with Gabriel Morency and the Raging Redhead Cam Stewart. Weekdays at 6 Eastern on SB Nation Radio. Bring it.
Game Time Decisions with Gabe Morency and Cam Stewart. Weekdays at 6 p.m. Eastern.
Wake up call.
There was a little photo that was released, and it was of Alex Smith's leg.
Oh my God, I thought this was fake. And then I found out it wasn't.
Why do we look at it?
Seriously, it's the car crash culture, right?
Yes.
We're rubbernecking.
We
in a car
need
crash.
to see this.
We have to see. If you're in a traffic jam and you realize there's an accident, you all look. We all look to want to know how severe was it. Oh my God, what's going on?
But there's no reason for us to see it. I showed it to my kids.
Oh,
I said, hey, I said, son, come here. You got to see this photo. I said, this will haunt your dreams for years. Look at this.
Amazing. If Alex Smith ever returns to a football field, I'll be blown away. You're so right about looking. I just could not. But look.
Well, it comes across your timeline, and you're looking at it like, yeah, why not? I'll take a look at it.
Staring at it. I just could not. This is freaking out.
And like I said, I had to go and show other people. I needed other people on my train. Like, dude, I'm about to throw up. Come here. Come check this out.
Wake Up Call with Tony D and Ron Culver. Weekday mornings.
Wake up.
Hey, have you bailed on a show after
Jacksonville
3 years?
to London.
3 seasons?
Are we going to be scrambling to get Jacksonville an NFL team?
Not at all.
Probably.
Do you remember?
Yeah,
had your chance.
Not our problem.
Which one? What, like a good one or a big one or a recent one?
Same thing with Oakland.
No? Or?
Yep. No.
Okay.
I'm trying to think.
Well, I have about
back in 10 years.
I have
figure it out.
54 I can
Wake
read
Up
on
Call
Twitter. But
with Tony D and Ron Culver.
I figured we could
Weekday
talk
mornings.
too. I don't want to list you to death, you know?
Pushing the odds with Matt Perrault.
Go for it.
Road Runner Swings here. I'm putting the odds. The most angry I've ever been at you was when you shot me with a paintball gun. Do you remember why you shot me with the paintball gun?
Yeah, I don't know. There might have
Shameless.
been a girl
I bailed
involved or
on that
something, to be
after
honest
4
with you. That's
episodes.
usually how these things work. But I do remember it because it was radio promotion. We were at this paintball place, and I think we were just getting on each other's nerves like 20-year-old dudes do, and you put your hands up, and I took a free shot at you, and you did not appreciate it one bit. So I don't know if I ever apologized for that, but if I didn't, sorry, man.
I remember my rib cage being like so sore for like 3 days afterward. You hit me like 4 times. It wasn't like one shot.
All right, so
It
we
was
have
like
the
multiple pulling pulls of the trigger too that you got me on.
geez,
So.
it's like you
the
completely
politics
have not
one and then
forgotten
the
about it.
Seinfeld
with
one,
Matt
right?
Perrault. Weekday afternoons from 1 to
Yep.
Do you want
SB
to bump
Nation
back
Radio.
with the politics one?
Sure.
Okay. Sorry, I didn't realize we were this close to the break.
You're fine.
Did you hear that weather report? I don't know if you just
I
jumped.
saw it once, but
Did you guys see that at all? I think it happened like Friday. Did we miss it?
no, I think it happened like earlier in the week too.
Really?
Wednesday or Thursday, yeah.
You're listening to The Second Level on SB Nation Radio,
And on SBNationRadio.com.
presented by Rocky
Politics, yeah?
Yes, please.
Parts Studios with way more than the scores. Here's Eitan Shander.
I wasn't a politician when I was playing my sport. You know, I was focused on my craft. Was that selfish? Probably, but that was my energy. That's where my energy was.
I'll be honest that when it was reported that Michael said, Republicans buy sneakers too, for somebody who was at that time preparing for a career in civil rights law and in public life and knowing what Jesse Helms stood for, you would have wanted to see Michael push harder on that. On the other hand, he was still trying to figure out how am I managing this image that has been created around me,
Mike's up.
and how do I live up to it?
So that's from The Last Dance, and there were a bunch of things that popped out from Jordan's gambling again, which is highlighted. It doesn't go deep by any means into it, the root issues of it, but you just see it manifested in different ways, like the security guard that went viral through moments of humor to vulnerability, as we'll get to with Jerry Seinfeld. But that comment beyond the Republicans buy sneakers too, which has been around as long as Jordan has, since he said it way back when. But it was more MJ now in this documentary explaining that he didn't want to be in politics. And I think the confusion at times, and again, we'll chat with Xavier Pope coming up 9 minutes from now, noted sports legal analyst, social political analyst as well, in Chicago, born and raised there. So we'll get some perspectives, not only on this conversation, but also Jordan and the impact that he continues to have, the legacy of the Bulls, but he continues to have in Chicago. It's not an easy conversation by all means to have about Michael Jordan, anybody of that magnitude when you're talking about celebrity. But I think what happens a lot is people conflate and people confuse the ideas of that they're not competing and that they have to be equal or congruent in some form of talking about politics and pushing somebody's political views or reinforcing somebody's political views or being a spokesperson for somebody's political views, or maybe even going the Bill Bradley to John Runyon and other routes of being a professional athlete to a politician, with helping people and being a philanthropist and impacting social causes. And if you really want to take it to now, you can see how very little Colin Kaepernick himself was impacting from a political. Now, his message and conversations and people on social media, egg accounts on either side with 32 followers don't count. I'm saying he himself, the man himself, you can talk and push and work for social change without being really in the political spectrum. And I think that there are a lot of people now, because of the current political climate, the political climate that we've been in for really, you could argue, the last 16 to 20 years, there is this divide, clear divide, as we see, and you can't bring up something, you can't point at something without somebody trying to figure who you are. Well, you have to be a fill in the blank, adjective of what you look like, political party, things you have to be grouped and classified, because then it helps that person understand what you're talking about. Forget just listening to what you're saying and using any type of example. So that's the problem that I think Michael Jordan continues to run into, and it's no fault of his own. It's simply the reaction that people have, which is you have to be in politics, or you have to be political. You have to speak out against Trump, or you have to speak out against Biden, or you have to just rep Obama, or you have to. And if you don't do that, you're not associated with helping people. You're not associated with any type of philanthropy. You're not associated with civil service. You're not associated with charity work. And that, I think, is unfortunate. Now, as far as a moment of vulnerability, this is awesome because it's Phil Jackson stepping in and ruining a moment, but the reaction to the moment is actually better than anything. So I'll set the stage real quick if you haven't seen this from The Last Dance last night. And Ron, you saw this, right? You were watching it live?
Yeah.
Okay.
Well, I wasn't watching it live. I was watching on tape delay because I can't stand commercials.
Fair enough. No problem at all. And that's even a better decision. So I don't know what you first thought of when you caught this, but it was really funny to see Jerry Seinfeld in the locker room talking to Michael Jordan.
Honestly, he looked nervous, and I've never seen Seinfeld look nervous.
Yeah. Well, because Seinfeld is such a huge sports fan, right? Like Chris Rock, that crew, such a huge sports fan that Jerry Seinfeld was you or me or anybody else that would have a chance to sit and talk to Michael Jordan. Now, they clearly knew each other, which is even more to your point about how nervous he looked.
Probably gambled.
You probably. Maybe it looked like Jerry might have had to collect it. He looked nervous like he had to collect the debt.
Or maybe Jerry had to settle up.
Well, no, I feel like
because Jordan
settling up is easy.
No, but I think Jordan loses, but I think he keeps going until he wins.
Yeah, until you're down, to not Jerry Seinfeld, but Jerry Slim.
I mean, Jordan seems like the kind of person who would be sitting there going like, "Yeah, I'm down $30,000."
Oh, absolutely,
double or nothing.
That's how he's down. That's how he's down so much to Slim. He writes a $50,000 check to Slim. All right, let's listen to this clip real quick because it's hilarious when you add the visual of Michael Jordan's face and his reaction, natural reaction to getting busted by Phil Jackson.
How you doing? Good to see you. Since the photo set. These are a couple of your good friends right here. Every day we come in and watch the game, they're watching your show. Not saying sooner or later you got to get tired of Seinfeld. Let's go, guys. Hi, Phil. All right, have a good game. Good to see you. All right, I see you, dude. All right. This is not going to work, by the way. How do we get that out of there? Keep the bottom back on. How you doing?
So at the end, he's telling the guy on the board, don't run that play. But the smile and the laugh you get from Michael Jordan was as genuine of a moment because it wasn't worrying about anything what the cameras were thinking. It was just two friends.
Hi, I'm Jay Farner, CEO of Quicken Loans and Rocket Mortgage. During these challenging times, our commitment to providing you with the best mortgage experience remains. We understand that hardships may arise, and we're prepared to help. Mortgage rates remain near historic lows. If you think that now is the right time to refinance your mortgage, our home loan experts are available to help 24 hours a day, 7 days a week at rocketmortgage.com.
Call for cost information and conditions. Equal housing lender. Licensed in all 50 states. NMLSconsumeraccess.org, number 3030.
Auto Accident Help Desk is a marketing agency connecting callers with attorneys. Providers pay a fee for advertising services.
I love getting my kids ready and driving them.
And who is this again?
Xavier Pope, EXAVIER.
And insurance companies want to settle on the cheap. Auto Accident Help Desk connects victims with powerful lawyers. They fight for you.
I called Auto Accident Help Desk and got help for my pain and suffering.
Don't let an insurance company take advantage of you. Our attorneys fight and beat big insurance every day.
Call 800-528-6859. 800-528-6859.
If you've been injured in an automobile accident in the last 6 months, you owe it to yourself to make this free call with no obligation. We're available 24/7 to help you get the money you deserve for your pain and suffering. Auto Accident Help Desk helps accident.
What's that?
Call 800-528-6859. 800-528-6859. That's 800-528-6859.
The final season
why
of
do I still
inventory
have
is
this thing?
happening
Oh, the
now
weather
at
report thing.
Copperleaf.
So you think that was earlier in the week, man? I missed that.
Yeah, I think that was.
Did you guys play that?
No, we never touched it.
Okay.
Priced from only $79.
I just feel like I just missed it. That's why I saw it, but I didn't even know. I figured if anybody on the network would have played it, it would have been you guys.
Historic Shoshone River for incredible blue ribbon trout fishing. A prime location next to the entrance of Yellowstone Park for hiking, sightseeing, and nature walks. Plus modern amenities including central water and sewer, underground electric, and more. During your private Copperleaf tour, you can choose to drive your own vehicle or take advantage of our
Xavier's now, right?
Yes, sir.
66935-2636 and ask how to take a live video tour of your beautiful 1 to 3+ acre mountainside home site. Priced from only $79.9 at Copperleaf. Don't wait. 866-935-2636 to take a live video tour of Copperleaf or visit copperleafwyoming.com.
At Fidelity, we understand priorities can change. So when you partner with a dedicated advisor from Fidelity Wealth Management, they will help you develop a personalized wealth strategy, one that can be flexible enough to evolve as your needs change. Plus, they can offer investing strategies designed to reduce the impact of taxes, all while making sure you understand what you're paying and why. Learn more at fidelity.com/wealth. Investment minimums apply. Fidelity Brokerage Services, LLC.
I might have dialed the wrong number. Or did you give me the wrong number again? You need to just hit share contact instead of typing the number in.
Damn it. Hold on.
Dealing with
Because
the
I'm taking
issues.
it
It's
from-
the second level on SB Nation Radio.
And on
Got it.
SBNationRadio.com.
It was a 6, not an 8 at the
Presented
end.
by
So I woke up some poor bastard.
those.
All right, let me get you on. Mike's hot.
I have to stop booking people without iPhones. It's no knock. I love our next guest. He's been a great mentor to me, somebody who's helped me out get through some difficult issues in this business, this industry. But he doesn't have an iPhone, so his messages don't transfer over to my laptop, and I can't look at the number on my laptop, copy and paste that to another message box to Ron Culver. So once again, like Brad Blanks 2 weeks ago, once again, the Samsung user nips me in the butt as I gave Culver the wrong number. I really have to stop doing this. You would also think that this would be something I would do ahead of time as well, right? Like 99.2% of radio hosts who you might listen to, watch, and hear around the country on any platform would give their producer, who's also, I mean, Ron's not just producing. He's co-hosting with me. He's playing audio. He's doing a lot, grabbing guests like Xavier Pope, and at least help him out to the slightest, like a little bit, right? And say, hey, by the way, we're having somebody on in an hour. Here's his number. But instead, I wait until the 3-minute break and rush the number. Typical. Now, as far as Blanks was concerned, that was still my fault. But at the very least, I believe I gave him the wrong number an hour earlier, right?
I'm not wanting to call you out on air, but I am.
No, please do. Wait a second. You're not. What about me in this show would let you think that
this was a backwards way to say, are you sure you have the right number? Because each time I've called, it says my call cannot be completed as dialed.
Now I'm positive that I gave you the right number.
All right. Did he give you the right number?
I'm going to DM him now. All right. What are you saying? That the second number isn't going through either?
The second number isn't going through either.
Is that?
I'll try again.
Wait a second. Is the second number hitting somebody? Are you waking somebody up in Chicago again like you did the first number?
The first number, I woke somebody up.
Okay.
I felt bad. I could tell that she was, well, I mean, you know what? She needs to wake up anyways. If she is in Chicago, if she, we're gonna assume that she's in Chicago. It's 11:45 there. She needs to be up anyways. No more sleeping the rest of the day away, unless she was working all night.
It's a quarantine, brother. You can sleep as late as you want. Now, I've corrected the number. I've given you an updated number thanks to Xavier. So this one should work. We're going to bring Pope on, of course, to talk about the Michael Jordan story and conversations now that have since followed regarding whether or not he should have been more active in politics, and maybe just looking at impact on society and social issues that wouldn't be considered politics, that wouldn't be considered full-on infusion in the political arena, yet still being able to help people, and kind of why those two are constantly merged together. All right, let's go out to the progressive guest line. At Xavier Pope is how you follow this man. Again, Xavier, lawyer, noted national legal sports analyst, political social analyst as well. You can read him, Forbes, see him as well. The Suit Up podcast. Always a pleasure, my friend. Hopefully all is well with you and your family, sir.
All is well, Ethan. Did have a couple of foster family members pass away due to COVID, so that has impacted me personally. I was at a funeral, which really was only a burial service, with people with hazmat bringing out the coffins. They're in 2 in 1 week on their nursing home. So those places have been hit hard by the crisis. So those who have lost members are also my heart goes out to you. It's a tough time, but we're doing well. I'm doing very well. Families, immediate family as well. But yeah, I've had to deal with it. But I'm making the most of it being inside.
I'm sorry for your loss, and I know that anybody who's gone through something similar, it's one thing to lose a loved one, but with the constraints that we're going through, I'm sure it compounds it.
Yeah, absolutely was. Like, I literally saw the folks that were at the cemetery with hazmat suits on, and that was just a real surreal experience. And not to have inside of a church and all that stuff like that, and have it only people standing 6 feet apart. But everyone's, hey, stay home, be safe. That's the most important thing. It is real. Listen to science and experts.
Let's start with a big conversation, because I do want to get your thoughts as a Chicago native and somebody who watched The Last Dance live, and now we're rewatching it all together. But let's start with the latest conversation. I hate to use the term controversy because I think, like you, I don't see it that way. But Michael Jordan, once again, because everything that happened back then is now new to a lot of people. So Michael Jordan is being brought into conversations about why wasn't he more of a political activist? Why wasn't he more involved in politics? Why isn't he now more involved in politics? So I'll let you answer that question.
I think it came down to Michael Jordan being, I talked about this a lot on Twitter, is Michael Jordan was a shy kid playing basketball, and he decided he wound up getting into becoming an international superstar and basically building a brand, and eventually became an owner of an NBA team, breaking through a club. And it's interesting that the topic is, why didn't Michael Jordan become more active? Instead of asking other white players that played who his contemporaries at the time, big time sports, guys like Wayne Gretzky. Yeah, he was Canadian, but he did play for the Los Angeles Kings, the biggest trade in NHL history, and with majority American teams and dollars, or a Larry Bird, who was considered basketball Jesus. Why do people expect Michael Jordan to be Moses, or black people, and changes in society? And in addition, the Greg Maddux, a great pitcher in Major League Baseball. Why did to ask more of him and what he would say happening in the South in Georgia, in terms of voter suppression in that state. To ask Nolan Ryan, a great pitcher, So what have we? Brett Favre, Peyton Manning. No one has asked these questions of these great white athletes, and I think it's unfair if we're living in a society with everyone in it, that the responsibility has to fall on the shoulders of just a Michael Jordan. I think that's unfair. It also gives these guys a pass to be able to ignore what they see in front of them and frankly ignore their own privilege.
Well, and I wonder, as far as Jordan is concerned and thrust into this conversation, do we see this with other athletes? And it's hard to compare to Jordan because nobody really has that magnitude, right? But Do we see it on a smaller level, maybe on a local level, where we have a star of a team that may not be as big as the star of the league, but getting pressure? Because I wonder how much of it is convenient now for people to look back and say, wow, this guy ran the world, and we're in a situation that we are currently now. Maybe if he did something back then, it would have helped us now, which, as I would think you would think, is pretty naive and short-sighted.
Michael Jordan would not have changed the needle significantly about race relations and political relations we see right now. LeBron James threw his hat on behind Hillary Clinton in the 2016 presidential election, and Hillary didn't change very much what happened in that state in terms of votes at all. And LeBron James is the most vocal athlete you see out there.
Right.
And so I think it's interesting that we try to look at Michael Jordan in terms of what he would do now based on what was happening in the 1980s. We had a different political environment at that time. Ronald Reagan was the president of the United States at the time, and you have to consider what the political calculus was for Michael Jordan, or what he would even be seeking to accomplish at that time. But this doesn't excuse Michael Jordan at all. I want to make sure that's clear, that there is a discussion among, especially particularly in the African American community, that this talented kid paradox, that if you reach a certain level of prominence in the Black community, or in terms of just mainstream, and have amount of certain power or influence, or you're in certain rooms that other people are not, then you have a responsibility to speak up for people who may not necessarily have the access to the spaces that you are in, and to turn an eye to the wider issues as to what's going on in society, to change laws, to have some sort of larger reform. And people felt like Michael Jordan's voice would have been critical to that in the 1980s, particularly during the time you had mass incarceration, you had increasing crime rates in the inner cities of America. You saw increasing wealth gap between African Americans and white Americans in this country that happened during that last generation. And so he could have spoke to a variety of issues similar to that. That doesn't say, hey, maybe he shouldn't have done that. But I think the wider discussion has to be had when you're discussing people who are the background of the majority of this country, which are white Americans. And you're speaking towards the other side. You cannot exclude, just like pretty much isolate Michael Jordan and say he is solely responsible because he's the best player in the entire world. I just think that's just unfair for him to be able to hold that mantle.
Yeah, I think that's a great point when you start to look at it a little deeper and realize that it's not about sides. It's about including people, including, of course, Michael Jordan himself, but not thrusting people on a platform that they're either not personally comfortable with or wouldn't do anything with if you force them on there. And I think that's kind of where we are right now. Xavier is looking at today's climate, and I wonder, because whenever something gets brought up from 10, 15, 20, 30 years ago, and it's not criminal or something completely awful or terrible, the opposite, of course, here is we're all getting to relive Jordan. But I wonder if a conversation like this has any impact on current Michael Jordan, who's not somewhere hiding, as a hermit in the middle of Minnesota. He's pretty visible.
Yeah, he's pretty visible. I think it's also it's interesting to consider some of the things he's done recently. You saw after Colin Kaepernick kneeled, you saw Michael Jordan give a donation to social justice causes, but he also gave money to a police board. And I think that is something he did in modern times back in 2016 that does deserve some level of scrutiny in terms of taking a modern stance that people did not necessarily agree with. In addition to that, people talk about, well, he doesn't care. Someone tweeted me like Michael Jordan does not care about Black people. I don't think that is entirely accurate. To complete some sort of picture like that, we see Michael Jordan give $7 million of his own money to hospitals and back in his hometown of Charlotte, in the inner city. And I think that we also saw him give $5 million to the Natural History Museum from the Smithsonian for African American culture. So you can't say he has that as well. I think that you have to look at this. Asa, you know me. I always say you have to look at every piece of the crossword puzzle.
Yes.
You can really see the true picture of how society functions and how we respond to it, to be smarter about these things. Michael Jordan does bear some sort of responsibility And what measure responsibility, whatever a dollar amount you want to attach to it, I don't know. But you have to complete the picture by saying this is a societal thing. Look at social distancing right now. There are people in states or certain situations that they are screwing it up for other people. We see more people have died as a result of that because we're being asked to be able to do something together that requires all of us to participate in at whatever level we are in order for it to work. The same thing applies to equal justice in terms of economic equality, in terms of how we treat each other in our society. It requires all of us to make it work. It is not just the responsibility of one special person, one ordinary person. It's all of our responsibilities and whether our respective contribution that to much is given, much is required. Some people are required to give more. Some people are required to give less.
Right.
So we all have a responsibility to do something.
Xavier, I've got about a minute left, and I always appreciate the time and the insight. Can you just put into perspective what it's like for Chicago to relive these moments on this documentary?
Obviously, with a struggling team like the Chicago Bulls,
yes.
Having something about this is the greatest thing that ever happened for the city. So to relive that to the city is amazing, and this is and you get to share the spotlight with no one else. So the 1997-1998 Chicago Bulls are the NBA right now.
Man, unbelievable to see it, though, isn't it? Just to relive it. And I know that it's a crazy time that we're all going through. And again, I'm sorry truly for your loss. And hopefully this is not live stuff, but it can provide a little bit of a distraction. I'm sure it's a heck of a distraction out there in Chicago because, as you said, it's the greatest thing that's happened from a sports standpoint to that city. Thank you, brother. Always love and always appreciate you.
Always, man. Thanks a lot. Be safe, my brother.
You got
Love
it. Absolutely. On the Progressive guest line at Xavier Pope. All right, quick break. We'll wrap the hour next year on the second level.
SB Nation tonight with John Michaels.
Did you see the latest on Kevin Durant where he said he played
did you
with
find
a
the
bunch
show
of
yet?
athletes, but not a
What?
Did you find the show yet?
Did I find a show? Oh, no.
Oh, okay.
I don't think
Did
you're
you
gonna have
stop
enough time you're not gonna have time to do anything in this.
No, I know. I'm just saying for the
do this 6,
for
7,
the
8
next
years
hour.
later where you're calling guys out. You sound like a candy ass when you do that. I
was
thought
gonna
it was
read- I'm gonna
soft
read
as
that
hell when he
tweet
left,
to kinda
but
set it
to
up for the
not
next
be
hour.
hypocritical, it is free agency. You are free to go play wherever the hell you want when you're a free agent. But why years later are you trashing guys that you used to play with? And whenever you're healthy again, you're
Yeah,
now
that
going
phone
to play
number was
again.
way
I'm going
off.
to tell you, if I'm Russell
Right?
Westbrook and I'm James Harden and I go against Kevin
I
Durant,
think he has
I'm
two
putting
lines,
the
and I was
Slim
hitting one
Reaper
lineup.
Yeah, it was wasn't a pretty sight.
We couldn't get the job.
I thought he was ghosting you.
No, it's happened before. You know?
SB Nation Radio.
Wouldn't be the first time.
Pharrell,
Coast to coast!
You know SB Nation's taking over the world, right?
Why, of course.
It's Pharrell here from Sports.
No, Mike,
Here's what happened. They
Mike,
signed
I booked them. Not
Pharrell
Ron.
coast to coast.
Ah.
And Morency game time.
Don't blame
decisions.
Ron on that.
Put
It was
on
my fault.
Don't put that evil on me, Ricky Bobby.
I'm telling you, don't
Nelson
blame
our
Culver.
path. What we're doing is
When
we're
it's time to blame
destroying them.
Culver, you'll know.
Yeah. I know my peeps' phone numbers.
Oh my goodness.
Wake up call.
I would say this too. If you're going to do the Peyton Manning challenge,
No, actually, your ratio is pretty good. Well, I don't know, because some of the people you booked, I already had the number, and probably had a better working number than you.
what's Tiger really like?
I'll tell you what, man. Tiger does not shut up. That whole time we were playing, Tiger could not stop talking the whole time. I think I talk a lot. Tiger talks. That would be great.
Yeah.
I would be totally into that.
Did Phil just walk around flexing all the time?
Phil thinks he's good. Nobody loves Phil than Phil. Like, if you've got that information, that'd be gold. Like, I like Phil, but I don't like Phil as much as Phil likes Phil. You know what I mean? I had my fill of Phil after hole 3. How about that? That would be great. That's worth
So,
a $500,000.
have you ever done the
Easy.
Whole Foods
Wake
delivery?
Up Call with Tony D and
Not Whole Foods.
I just know because I have an Amazon Prime, so I get a
Don't know
discount.
where to go
That's
for
why I
that
do Whole
pregame
Foods, but
drink? Visit
they have-
culturemap.com for all
I don't
the
know if
hottest
they have
spots
this
in
wherever you
Houston,
get grocery
Austin,
delivery where
Dallas,
they give
Fort
you the
Worth,
option
and
to
San
substitute.
Antonio. From the most popular bars to those favorite dine-in gems.
Okay.
Is that so? If you order, broccoli
visit some of the
florets,
best
they might
places to
say, "Hey,
shop
we're out
or
of
see
that.
some
We'll
of
give
the
you a
sites.
cauliflower
Culture Map
floret,"
has
something
extensive
like that.
coverage on.
Right.
So
check out culturemap.com. That's culturemap.com.
they're giving me a bunch of substitute options, and they're all for different forms of like chicken packaging that I got, like chicken nuggets or nibblers or.
Scratching beneath the surface. It's the second level on SB Nation Radio.
And on SBNationRadio.com.
Presented by Rocket Mortgage by Quicken Loans. From the O'Reilly Auto Parts Studios, here's Eitan Shander.
How many chicken tenders, like good sized chicken fingers, make up 3 pounds? Like, how many do you think, if I had a bushel, right? A packet, if you will.
A bushel?
Well, yeah, I was just using it.
Who speaks in those terms? What about a barrel?
Well, I don't know if 3 pounds would make up a barrel. Isn't a bushel a handheld barrel?
I would think a bushel is like a bag.
We don't have time to argue semantics. What do you think as far as 3 pounds of chicken tenders? How much do you think that would be? Like 50?
50? No.
How many
50,
tenders?
You said $50? Oh, 50 tenders.
Yeah, how many tenders do you think would make up 3 pounds of chicken tenders? Because that's what I have coming, courtesy of Whole Foods, because all my other chicken options were out.
45.
45. All right, we're going to do this. Tomorrow, we're going to see the payoff.
40.
No, you said 45.
I'm going backwards.
You set the number. It's like Card Sharks. You set the number, I go over, under. I'm going to go under. Under 45 chicken tenders. 3 pounds. $30 is what it costs. Actually, technically $33. Unbelievable. The substitution option. Yeah, every chicken.
Hey, everybody.
is
RJ
unavailable.
Ochoa here from SB Nation's bloggingtheboys.com, your home for the best Dallas Cowboys coverage on the web. And did you know that we have a podcast feed?
Everything in my card is
podcast
unavailable.
feed has
It's
daily,
amazing,
that's
isn't
right,
it?
daily episodes breaking down the latest and greatest in the world of America's team. We have multiple shows, multiple analysts, including a Super Bowl winner. 2-time Super Bowl champion Tony Casillas is part of our rotation, and we want to make sure you are as well. We're available on Apple, Spotify, and wherever else you get your podcasts. So don't miss out. Subscribe to the Blogging the Boys podcast feed today. Hey, everybody. RJ Ochoa here from SB Nation's bloggingtheboys.com, your home for the best Dallas Cowboys coverage on the web. And did you know that we have a podcast feed? The Blogging the Boys podcast feed has daily, that's right, daily episodes breaking down the latest and greatest in the world of America's team. We have multiple shows, multiple analysts, including a Super Bowl winner. 2-time Super Bowl champion Tony Casillas is part of our rotation, and we want to make sure you are as well. We're available on Apple, Spotify, and wherever else you get your podcasts. So don't miss out. Subscribe to the Blogging the Boys podcast feed today.
Let's go. Pushing the odds with Matt Perrault.
Brett Murphy from Stadium joining us here on Pushing the Odds. What are you hearing from athletic directors and coaches about?
You said chicken tenders, right?
Yes, sir.
No, I need to give you a better answer.
Got a number.
It's not going to be anywhere near 45.
It's going to be like 20?
No, I was thinking the reason why I was thinking nuggets for some reason.
Okay.
Because that's what my kids get. They don't go for the tenders, they always go for the nuggets.
Maybe university presidents will feel confident enough to say, you know what, to all of our students all over the world, it's now safe to come back on campus and take your fall classes. But make no mistake, they will find out some way to get this season done, which could mean the semifinals from the Rose Bowl and the Sugar Bowl and the national title game from Miami going on maybe as late as Memorial Day.
Pushing the odds with Matt Perrault. Weekday afternoons from 1 to 4 Eastern on SB Nation Radio. Pharrell.
Coast to coast. It's Pharrell, coast to coast. We're taking over the world. And I got to tell you, from the beginning, it's been kind of easy. You got to love us on SB Nation, kicking ass and taking names. Every day, 4 to 6, you catch my Sports Grid coast to coast gig. And imagine this. Once we go live again, baby, you're not going to know what hit you when I start pouring beers and shots for you.
Pharrell Coast to Coast with Scott Pharrell. Weekdays from 4 p.m. to 6 p.m. Eastern. The second level. The second level.
The one bet I'm most comfortable, confident in across the draft board is the under 55.5 for Jalen Hurts. And as we were talking through this on Thursday morning, it's a lock. I even reiterated that. It's only a matter of time before you get Jalen Hurts on the board. And we even brought that bet back up as far as one of the more underrated and really most valued bets you could find on the board. Never in a million years if you gave me a million different probabilities, one of the two major simulators in Westworld is running, would I come up with a scenario in which the Philadelphia Eagles would A, take a quarterback in the second round, and B, that quarterback be Jalen Hurts, the guy that we talked about at length heading into Friday night for 2 days. This is where we are on this planet.
The Second Level, weekdays from 11 a.m. to 1 p.m. Eastern.
Wake up call! Please, God, if it does come to that, can we have the Walking Dead zombies, not the World War Z?
Yeah, I don't need the fast-moving
superhuman.
Ooh,
I'm not
Neil.
outrunning a World War Z zombie.
I'm the guy you bring because secretly you know I can't keep up with the rest of the group. Hey, I'm going to take Bob and Jim and Tony. You come with us too, and everybody knows why you're bringing me. So when push comes to shove, I'm the meal.
Wake Up Call with Tony D and Ron Culver, weekday mornings.
Wake up call! Now, Condoleezza Rice was on the playoff committee. My old boss, Jim Arthur, just tweeted me that she was. Thanks, Jim, out in Colorado Springs, for helping me out with that. So Condoleezza Rice was on the playoff committee.
AKA Tony Burner account. We're not mentioning that stuff.
Condoleezza Rice was on the playoff committee. Obviously, she was, Secretary of State. Then she's also a member of Augusta National. So an all-in challenge for her. Golf at Augusta National, lunch talking college football, maybe a little politics on the, thrown in there for good
I
measure.
wouldn't want to talk politics. I just want to know dirt.
Yeah, maybe a little behind the scenes White House dirt.
Is there a president's book?
Yeah,
What can you
right.
Tell me.
Yeah, right. Exactly. Is there a president's book? That would be a cool thing.
Is Area 51 a cool place?
Right, exactly. She could tell you all about that,
How do you not
as well
have any
as whether
show
or not
that you
TCU
bailed
and Baylor got screwed.
Wake Up Call with Tony D and Ron Culver, weekday mornings.
Are you that out on today's show?
I just never thought about it. I mean,
Do you hate today that much?
No, I think that the problem being is that there's a bunch of shows that I probably have bailed on that I can't think about. Like I can't remember what they were. And that's how long they stayed in my. It's like once I'm done with once I bail on, I'm just out.
Game time decision.
Game time.
I mean, there are shows I've never wanted to start that my wife watches that I walk away. I'll give you that list.
Wait, I'm sorry. What was that list? The second part?
The shows that my wife is into.
Right. That you just walk away.
I can't be in the same room with her when she watches.
Yeah, we can add that.
Awesome.
I just find it. I can't believe you never bailed on a show.
If you'd like to think.
Why?
Because there's so much bad television out there.
No, I know, but I don't watch it all.
Yeah, but the likelihood of all of the shows that you've watched not having one bad and one in there. Like you never saw Dexter?
What I get into.
You never saw Dexter?
No, I never got into Dexter.
All right, well, if you bailed on that, I wouldn't have a problem. I sat
Second
to
level
that crap.
thinking is defined as
What about
looking beyond
Boardwalk
the
Empire?
easy,
You sit to that
obvious
crap?
conclusions.
Nope.
Thinking.
Welcome to the Second Level. On SB Nation Radio,
And on SBNationRadio.com.
where we go beyond the box score.
Any
Presented
comedies?
by Rocket Mortgage by Quicken Loans.
Like Modern
Rocket
Family?
Mortgage is with you every.
Modern Family, I think that's one I bailed on.
There you go.
Your host, Eitan Shander.
We've struck gold. It took us an hour, but we finally now can bring up the Twitter question of the day.
Not even been an hour.
Well, technically, I only got on at like 04, and then we began the program. I had
to
to
ask me right away. Didn't you ask me like during like the second break or something? I don't even remember when you asked me.
I don't remember. Don't play on the fact that my short-term memory is the span of a
mine's
gnat.
shot, so don't worry about it.
I think it was in
I have
the
none.
beginning part, like maybe the first break, maybe around 25. All right, so it's not an hour yet. We're encroaching
that's
50 minutes.
Making me feel bad over here.
Well, I not as bad as you made me feel of giving you the wrong number for Xavier Pope.
Twice.
But yes, which is now the second time this has happened in 3 weeks with a guest.
Or the wrong number for Xavier Pope twice.
Correct.
Apparently.
Yes, absolutely. I did something over the weekend twice for the first time in 6 weeks. And no, this is a PG. It's not even a PG-13 show. We make this a PG show. So don't go there. Don't have your mind in the gutter.
Who's going there?
Well, I'm
Yeah,
just
if you're going there, stop listening. We're
Exactly.
not going there.
we don't, right.
We don't go there.
Not on purpose. And what I'm saying is it's not that.
on terrestrial radio.
No, exactly. You save that for the weekend show, 6 to 9 Eastern here on the network, where I get to stretch out a little bit.
Or the live stream during the break.
Absolutely, where Ron really gets to stretch out a little bit. No, I played golf over the weekend, and it was amazing. It was
Nice.
awesome. Now, don't golf, right?
No, I
not anymore
would
with
like
the kids.
to.
Right.
I would like to, and I'm getting to that point where I'm getting close to being able to escape again, because that's what I call it, an escape.
Absolutely, you have to break out.
I might be able to. We're getting to that stage again. The youngest one is getting older, that he's not so time consuming.
Nice.
By everyone else. But
are you good?
No.
Okay.
Golf and that other thing, you don't have to be good at to enjoy.
Depends. The second thing, you better be good enough to keep your partner invested.
I didn't say about the partner.
Well, it's going to be hard to do it alone. You could go out and walk 18 alone.
Attention. If you or a loved one took
about that for PG.
I love it.
Loss, call the Belvique Advocates at 1-888-743-7254.
Did you bail on The Simpsons? Everybody's bailed on The Simpsons.
No, okay. Simpsons, I never really got into. I would watch here and there, and I'd watch episodes. The way I watched it is if somebody was talking about it, it's like, oh, did you catch that episode? I would go back to it. I can't say, like, Modern Family was definitely a show I bailed on. South Park was another one I bailed on.
Okay.
I used to be a religious South Park watcher. And then I remember going back to it a couple, after years later, I'm like, who the fuck are all these guys?
Yes.
1-888-743-7254.
You have so many new characters that could come on in like 3 years to where they're normalized.
Modern Family, I did bail on that one because I felt it was just becoming redundant.
Yes.
COVID-19 crisis.
Like they ran out of jokes, and so they were just kind of rehashing them, or they were making the characters more unrealistic.
Got it.
Committed to getting through this.
Non-attorney paid spokesperson.
I didn't realize. Wait,
could your
how
house
many
go
more
into
people could they add?
foreclosure? Are you behind on your mortgage payments? Because it's
why they added more. They didn't add more.
I'm asking you.
No. They could. You mean South Park?
Yeah.
Oh no. It was. I mean, there was just like 3 new characters, and I came back to it, and I was just like, okay, I'm kind of lost along the shuffle here, but there again, it was like Simpsons, because to me, it was one of those shows you don't need to follow a storyline chronologically to enjoy it. So there are certain shows that you need to kind of know the backstory on.
Yes, got it.
These weren't. You was like, somebody would tell you about an episode. It's like, oh, okay, I'm going to come back and watch that then.
Yep.
Just watch that one episode.
help stop the foreclosure process. Call today before it's too late.
But see, a lot of shows that I've gotten into over the years, I've recorded them. I guess one I could say is MacGyver, the new version of MacGyver, for getting away from cartoons.
Really? MacGyver?
Well, I tried it. What's the difference between bailing and trying?
Oh, so the criteria on the Twitter
Research
question
shows
is
that wearing a face mask
must watch at
drastically
least
reduces
3
the spread
seasons of the show.
Oh, okay, no, never mind. That would be definitely South Park. That would be Modern Family.
To purchase you and your loved one's face mask, please go to accellifestyle.com. That's ACCEL lifestyle.com. Once we receive your order, we will ship your masks out immediately. Thank you and stay safe.
From reviews on the latest.
I'll throw a CW show in there.
Oh man!
Yeah, I got it.
Now an original CW or like King of Queens runs on CW twice a night.
No, like original, like it was the 100.
Okay.
Which I guess has had its final season this year.
You're listening to The Second Level on SB Nation Radio.
And on SBNationRadio.com.
Presented by Rocket Mortgage by Quicken Loans. From the O'Reilly Auto Parts Studios, with way more than the scores. Here's Eitan Shander.
NFL has announced there will be no more international travel this year for any type of game. So London's out, Mexico City, anywhere that they would look at out. Not like the NBA, who might be moving to New Zealand for a couple of months. The NFL is saying no, and it makes total, complete sense. This shouldn't be used as any type of barometer or needle mover for the discussion. Much like Cam Newton, we need data. We need to know if Cam Newton is healthy, and then we can decide why he hasn't, if he still isn't, signed, which I don't think he won't be signed if the clean bill of health comes out. Man, that sounds like a Laurel and Hardy bit right there, huh? The idea, at least in people's minds, has been planted that there must be something more than Cam. There must be something bigger than Cam Newton's health. And the NFL is not using anything that they have to their knowledge, anything they have in their hands right now that you and I don't, due to medical advancement and breaking and fighting the COVID-19 virus. The NFL is looking at this from a reasonable standpoint, saying if we're barely able to fit essential personnel in a stadium in Atlanta or North Jersey or LA or Vegas, then what the hell shot do we have of being able to do that in London? And why would we want to invite all of the technical difficulty? I mean, we shouldn't even have to talk through this. This is just a normal decision that you would make right now. And if there is a deadline, right? I mean, I'm dealing with a deadline myself. It's pretty much Friday where I have to determine whether or not I'm sending out, and I, meaning my fiance, not me, need to determine whether or not we, and I wouldn't use we collectively, it's really her, needs to figure out if we're sending the dates to our wedding on July 25th or if we're pushing it back to September. And we have a backup date. That's fine. It's no big deal. I'm not first world probleming you to death by any means. I'm just saying there's a deadline. So unfortunately, we're going to have to hit that deadline. NFL's looking at this like there's a financial economic deadline where they need to make a definitive answer of, can we go to London? And if you can't go to London now and you don't think you're going to be able to go to London then you don't just wait and hang around. And there's this, I guess, assumption that they haven't been discussing this leading up until this announcement. So any idiot, and I hate to use this term, but I don't know what else to use to describe it, looking at this story and thinking, well, that's it. You know, the NFL season's over, canceled, and, you know, panicking because there is a smart business decision being made and no science or data or anything like that can apply to it. Look, you can believe in from what you've read and seen from anything medical and anything scientifical that we get hit with a second wave, which is very likely, and other things around that time could negate a season or at least negate fans and beyond in the stands. But my point of it is it's idiotic to use this specific piece of information, this canceling of international travel in December, November, as any real barometer of what the NFL is going to do with their season or what we can do with our lives. This isn't Dr. Fauci slipping a note to Roger Goodell saying, hey, you know, the season's done. Just do what you can do. You slowly shut it down. Start with London, Canada, Mexico City. You know, no Toronto games for the Bills, no Mexico City games. You're going to have to put off that trip to Jakarta or anywhere else. Just chill for a minute. This isn't that. It's not somebody who the NFL has access to that's giving them the secret science in the back. You know, can you go back and get the fresh yams in the back, young man? You know, there's always that the guy in the grocery store, right? Looking at whatever's out. Do you have any fresh ones in the back? You always keep the special ones in the back. Maybe it's just me from New York City and Philadelphia where we have that, but that's not happening here. Roger Goodell has not gone to Fauci or Burks or anybody else and asked them for the special science. Can you really tell us what's going to happen in November so we can bail out of London? You know that if anything, the NFL would rather move half the league to London and just continue to expand like the NBA has. But it's not going to happen. At Shander Show, twitch.tv/Shander Show on Twitter. Speaking of which, we'll get to fake news coming up in 9 minutes. Before that, a question I put out, and it's met with some resistance by some, including, of course, former Eagles center Jamal Jackson at Center Stage 67, who criticized me, and rightfully so, because whenever you have the dedication to play a sport at the level of the NFL, you don't quit. So I understand why he met it with resistance. The question was, what show or shows did you bail on after watching at least 3 seasons? So Jamal tweets in right away. Finish what you start, fam. with a big exclamation point. And I had to remind him that this was specifically about finishing last night after The Last Dance. Well, technically, if you want to look at it before The Last Dance, but last night, Westworld, which was a total destruction of the program. The first 2 seasons were good television. They had a good theme going. They really developed characters with depth. And not only did they have conflicting emotions and range of decision-making for these characters that were complex, but they pitted them together, and it was really interesting to see which way and which avenue they would turn down developing a character versus cutting a character short, or even playing off the fact that a lot of the characters are robots and you can change personalities, etc. There was genius at times, dare I say, in the first season, shades of it. Season 2, it can never be as good as season 1, but I enjoyed it. Season 3 was a complete reboot, a lot of repeating themes, and some of the stuff just didn't make sense. So I'm really, and I have not done this in a long time, bailed on a show after 3 seasons. I was really tempted to bail on Game of Thrones after the 4th season because it was a year and a half of just killing somebody to kill somebody, or worse scenes just to do it. And it didn't add to anything except to remind us that character A is bad, character B is good, character C is bad now, but will be good later, and just using the same type of repetitive violence over and over again, and other themes too that wouldn't be good for the show to kind of dive into. I stuck with it because at that point you're with it. I begrudgingly stuck with Westworld this year because I noticed it was a completely different program. I bailed on The Leftovers after season 1, waited 2 years, went back, watched 2 and 3, and loved it. It was fantastic, but it was a complete departure from the first season. So it's now taken, and to be fair, it was about 50, because you had to rack your brain on this one. It wasn't an easy answer. I have about 96 answers to this Twitter question. We could spend the rest of the program just talking about the shows that people respond to. But I wanted you because I feel like you're a man of good taste, solid taste. What show did you find one in any genre, Ron Culver, that you can point to and say, after 3 seasons, I effectively bailed on that program because it was trash?
Yeah, South Park I got bored with. I'm not gonna say these shows were trash. Okay, I think that's extreme. But South Park I kind of got bored with. And Modern Family.
3 seasons of South Park, and you got bored with it.
I watched a lot more.
Oh, okay, at least 3 seasons. What?
Yeah, you said at least.
Part? I did, correct. Thank you. At what part?
I think South Park was more of I'm getting older and don't have the time to watch such nonsense. You know when actually I can tell you when it happened was before I had kids, after marriage, before I had kids, I was playing a lot of indoor soccer when I was living in San Diego. And I would always have games. South Park was always on Wednesday nights. I always had game Wednesday nights. So I just never
saw it, yeah.
Yeah, and that was kind of, before DVR, or wasn't high up on the list of DVRing, if you will.
Okay.
Or TiVoing.
Why make your life easier?
If I say TiVoing,
TiVoing is acceptable still.
But it kind of dates myself.
You already dated yourself with your Starsky and Hutch reference, right? What was it?
Starsky and Hutch.
Oh, no, it was Hal. That's right.
Hal.
From 2001.
But Modern Family, I felt they just ran out of jokes.
Yeah, see, I would think that's pretty fast. You got 3 seasons out of that show. I watched a couple of episodes, and I thought, all right, outside of Ed O'Neill, and watching Sofia Vergara just do anything, there wasn't really much appeal.
Well, no, there's appeal. I mean, now you can say it. It was the maturation of Ariel Winter.
Who's that?
Or the second daughter.
Ariel Winter?
Yeah.
Is she related to Jonathan Winter? Or is that Jonathan Winters?
That's Jonathan Winters.
Okay.
Check her out. You can now look at her. We can now talk about her. She's legal. But back then she wasn't, so you weren't allowed to talk about her.
I don't know who she is.
Well, just Google her.
I am
And
looking right at her.
You'll meet. She was one of the daughter, the Dumfries.
No, I know, but what else? You said the maturation. Oh, you're just saying as far as she's older, so you can talk. I
Yes.
thought you meant
Much
maturation like
the-
her career.
No, much like the Olsen twins. You couldn't talk about them until they got older, but then when the Olsen twins got older, you were like, I don't really want to talk about you now. It's kind of a disappointment.
I tell you, you're setting the bar really low for a show. If the only really solid thing is you can talk about people that mature.
I can't remember his name, but I did like Phil Dunphy.
Okay, that's fair. There was enough on the show to keep you going.
Yeah, there was enough to keep me going, and then after a while, the storylines just kind of seemed to repeat themselves, just in different characters. And I was like, okay, we're getting done. What about you? You talk a big game. You said there was like 50 shows that you've bailed on.
No, I'm saying not me personally. I'm saying as far as the responses got, I have 98 different.
Okay, well, what are some of yours?
See, this is the thing. I'm trying to remember I bailed on The Leftovers, but it was season 1, and then I came back to it. I stuck through a lot of shows. I hate watched 3 seasons at least of Boardwalk Empire. I mean, whenever they killed Jimmy Dormady, which I think was after season 2.
Spoiler!
Well, trust me, I'm not
I'm
ruining
kidding.
anything. The last show that I watched and then bailed on, I'm trying to think because it would have to be a while ago. And I don't know if it was something 3 seasons into it. We've all bailed at some point on The Simpsons. When a show's running that long, it doesn't really count.
No, yeah. Because you bail, you come back, you bail, you come back. Now it's on Disney Plus, so I'm revisiting younger days.
I'll give you a show I bailed on because I felt like it was way too unrealistic for me, even in the world of it being unrealistic. And I didn't necessarily dislike it, but I thought to myself, I don't necessarily think I'll be interested moving forward. And that was 24. So
Okay,
I
you
can't.
bailed on that one, huh?
Well, I bailed after. Yeah, I think I bailed after the
After what?
second season, though.
Well, okay, so at least you made it through the first couple of 24 hours.
Yeah, I did. I made it through the first 24 hours. Right. I
How
made it
about
through
you
2
gave
days.
up like at hour 20 and was like, oh my God,
No,
I
no.
can't go through 4 more hours of this.
I went through 2 24s on this.
See, now I've gotten into shows and had them bail on me, and I don't think that's fair.
Meaning they've been canceled.
Yeah, one show in particular, which was, started a big uprising, was Jericho.
Yeah, but didn't that return?
That returned, but it was like as if they returned with B-rated writers. Like they didn't have the same writers.
Yeah. Now
and they returned like, you guys really wanted this. Look, we're gonna hire these terrible writers, and they're gonna write stuff that they're gonna make it too far-fetched. And they did. And it was just like, oh no, that's not what we were hoping for.
So I'll give you a show real quick that I bailed on because I just had way too many new things coming in, and it had nothing to do with my dislike for it. We'll get to fake news coming up next, and that's Peaky Blinders. And I do feel like I should go back and pick up, and that was after season 3, just because I just stopped watching it and had so many other shows on the queue. Have you seen that?
No.
It's worth your time.
I've heard
Tom
good
Hardy
things.
is worth your time.
I've heard good things about that. The problem is there's not enough hours in the day to watch all the shows that we need.
Absolutely. I'll give you a couple of really popular ones that were hit on Twitter. And again, at Shander Show, you can join the now 101 responses. I got a bunch of people that said True Blood, Shameless, not as many Westworlds as you would think. True Blood, Shameless, Game of Thrones, and The Walking Dead.
Oh, Walking Dead, I definitely gave up on as well.
How many seasons into it?
That one, I definitely lasted a while.
See? And why didn't you lead? You buried the lead. You don't do that with fake news.
You know what? Like I told you during the break, I forget about the shows that I've watched. I gave up on them. Like, I don't care anymore. But as soon as you mention a show, I'm like, oh, that's one. Yeah. I gave up on them when they were in Alexandria. It was like season 7 or season 8.
Fair enough. All right, we'll get to fake news next. I got to read this tweet. Retweeting it at Shander Show. 4th floor stall. I'll tell you the origins of that Twitter account in the break. Next, Ron Culver is going to be saying he's rewatching Dinosaurs because of the mama kid maturation throughout the series. Do you not watch Dinosaurs?
Well, when I was younger, sure.
All right. I don't know what this is, but the meme itself is perfect. All right. We'll hit fake news next with Ron on the second level.
SB
Did you
Nation
see
tonight
that?
with John Michaels.
You know what? You all suck.
Why?
Not you.
Twitter?
I would.
Yeah.
Oh man, that's somebody listening.
That's funny.
That's somebody listening and tweeting.
I know. At fourth floor stall, I guarantee you, if you that you would watch Ariel Winter as well.
Sure.
Yeah, Ariel
we
Winter
could have done a
was pretty
can.
good.
I mean, anyone who has a breast reduction doing the right thing, right?
Yeah, I mean,
Train for like a year. I might have
Exactly.
against somebody. Although, actually, no, I wouldn't. Those dudes are like 40 feet off the table, and they're and that thing's the ball's just flying.
We're gonna have enough time to do fake news.
Yeah.
What do you have at the 40?
I don't have anything.
Oh, okay. We got plenty of time.
Yeah.
Nation
We
Radio.
got all the time in the world.
All
We
the
got a
time in the world. We can play that weather report at some point, and then the
We can
Jordan.
do that here and do the fake news at the 40.
Yeah, that's fine. I do want to play that
Coaches,
MJ
owners, players,
on Kobe
and they're
too.
all doing the same thing.
Okay.
They're laughing and they're breaking up and they don't know whether.
Well, how much time are we gonna have? 6 minutes?
Nation, baby.
Pharrell,
Yeah, probably something like that.
PM to 6 p.m.
Could we
Eastern.
do like what we do with McMullen?
With Matt Perrault.
Yeah, we can do part of it and then spill it over.
Yeah, just so we continue to kind of
Applying
honor.
is
Yeah, I
the
don't mind
first
spilling
sin.
over,
The second sin is
but
they
I'd
were
rather spill
approved
over than
for it.
push it
And then
back.
the third sin was they took money. They're giving the money back. But what? How many other sports teams applied for this? Do we know? Do we know how many teams actually went ahead and said, yeah, I'm a billion-dollar entity. I'm paying my players still. The guy in the corner who owns the sports bar can't keep his lights on, but we're going to take money that's earmarked for him? Oh, wait, the public backlash. We'll give it back. I cannot, for the life of me, figure out in what conversation the Lakers said, this is a good idea. Let's apply for that. Somebody needs to take a long, hard look in the mirror. I know the Lakers think they're hurting, but that guy with the bakery who can't pay his employees, that guy is really hurting. You're not.
Pushing the Odds with Matt Perrault. Weekday afternoons from 1 to 4 Eastern on SB Nation Radio. Introducing AutomotiveMap.com, a brand new website for anyone interested in what's happening in the world of automobiles. From reviews on the latest vehicles to vintage rides to tips on keeping your family safe on the road, AutomotiveMap.com has something for you. If you love cars, trucks, and SUVs, and the amazing technology hitting your favorite showroom, check out the brand new AutomotiveMap.com. Scratching beneath the surface. It's the second level on SB Nation Radio.
And on SBNationRadio.com.
Presented by Rocket Mortgage by Quicken Loans. From the O'Reilly Auto Parts Studios, here's Eitan Shander.
All right, Ron Culver each and every day at this time has 4 news stories. One of them is fake, so we go fake news.
Fake news. We got to come up with a jingle. You ready?
Yes, I'm ready.
All right. So far, here we go. Here's a 2020 recap for you. You ready? First, it was the Australian wildfires, then being on the verge of World War III. That seems like so long ago. Followed by the COVID-19 pandemic. Now, the next thing to happen will be an invasion of murder hornets.
Wait, what was that?
Next thing on our bucket list for 2020 is an invasion of murder hornets.
Well, see, the problem with me doing shows 7 days a week now.
Uh-oh. So you've heard about the murder hornets.
Should I be? Let me ask you this. We haven't really discussed this yet, but I feel like, because we've gone through this in the past, I feel like where we've done this and I've known a story ahead of time when you bring it up, right? Because you don't tell me ahead of time.
Right.
If I've seen that story before, then I let you know.
You should.
Okay, I should. Right.
Yes.
So, yeah,
and, and it's bound to happen on a Monday.
Correct. Absolutely.
So the Mondays should be the easiest day for you.
Correct.
But I could not pass up not talking about murder hornets invading America.
Well, that's the thing is from what I saw, they're in Washington State now, and they can take a house apart or a beehive apart in hours and probably a house apart.
Yeah.
And people are likening the sting from a murder hornet, if you survive it, as like sharp metal driving into your skin.
Yep, I've heard that as well. And there's a video. There's like a environmentalist or a nature guy or whatever, like a Bear's Grill type of guy, out in the wild in Japan, and he literally volunteers to be stung by a murder hornet.
Unbelievable.
And the scream is real.
That's I don't want to hear that. The shriek.
But again, I'm going to liken this to killer bees. When I was younger, I don't know about you, but when I was living in California, killer bees were going to be taking over the southwestern part of the United States.
Yes, we were.
Were you preparing for killer bees to infiltrate Pennsylvania?
I think at one point we were right. We were shown these big pictures of them and how dangerous they are.
Yeah.
Basically, like stay inside. It was the first stay inside.
Right, and that never happened. We lived harmlessly amongst killer bees, I guess. I don't know.
Yeah.
I'm not really sure what happened today will be 2 stories are real, 1 is fake. Let's see. All right, story number 2. The Raiders had to bribe Jamarcus Russell with cheeseburgers to make him watch film.
All right, there's some element of this story is true. I have no doubt in my mind, right? That they had to bribe Jamarcus Russell with something, but maybe, just maybe, you've tweaked this because it's such a believable conclusion that they would say, here, take all the cheeseburgers you need.
I mean, it would make sense. And the guy definitely ballooned. And none of us ever accused him of going to Balco.
No.
All right, so think on that one. Story number 3. Clint
Wait a
Boyer.
second. That is interesting. You're right. Okay.
Clint Boyer has been suspended indefinitely following a circulated photo on social media showing he had been drinking during NASCAR's latest iRace event.
Drinking while driving a NASCAR simulator.
Yes.
I don't see anything wrong with that. Do you?
Well, NASCAR is trying to keep a clean-cut image. He's just been suspended indefinitely. That doesn't mean forever or he's being fired or anything. It took me a while. For the longest time, I thought indefinitely meant he's gone.
Right. It just means that they can lift it for whenever.
Yeah.
Yeah, okay. If you don't have a ridiculous example of ignorance and insensitivity and any other word you want to apply to it, where the other driver just blatantly and callously just came out right with the N-word, do you not have as much of a reaction now? Do you think NASCAR is just on edge, or is there the association of drinking and driving, even though it's a simulator?
I maybe it's a little mixture of both. I think it's the former. I think it's the on edge about everything that's going on.
Yeah, I think you're right. Where this would be looked at as funny. This would be a funny story.
If someone was to sneeze right now, I almost feel like they would say foul.
Yeah, yeah. And
Just
Boyer's
because-
out there boozing it up, playing the simulator, which would be looked at similarly to the driver who quit. Didn't Bubba just quit in the middle of it, throw his controller and say, that's it, I'm
Was
out
that
of here?
Bubba? Yeah. Who's the other one? I don't remember the other guy. The other guy got,
Well, Bubba's the one who quit because
Bubba's the one who rage quit.
Right. Yes.
But then there was another person after that who dropped that racist profanity word that dare not ever be mentioned. But I can't remember who. See, we already forgot who that guy was. And he's out of a job. He's gone.
Yeah, it's crazy, isn't it?
Yep. All right, story number 4. The Miami Dolphins CEO, Tom Garkinkel, has laid out some initial plans of how they're going to accomplish social distancing at Hard Rock Stadium this upcoming season. So here's two of the ideas that they have, for maintaining social distancing. On the tickets, there will be certain times that you are allowed to enter. So that way everything can be staggered entering into the stadium. The other thing is that they will exit the stadium much like people leave church, 1 row at a time.
All right. I'll give you my answer coming up next. Also, MJ on Kobe and a weather report you have to hear. It's the second level.
Here at Rocket Mortgage and the Rock family of companies, every one of our team members knows a hero.
My Uncle Paul, who works long hours at the grocery store to make sure that people can put food on the table.
We really want to thank my wife's cousin Marie, who works so hard as a nurse saving others.
Thank you for being a hero in our community, Des Marie.
To those who leave their homes to keep us safe in ours, we thank you. From the front lines to behind the scenes, we see you. You're essential every day, and today, you're heroes.
We're giving families everywhere a little more hope for a healthier tomorrow.
We're sending all our love, gratitude, and hope your way.
Here's to all of you. We couldn't be more grateful.
Thank you so much for everything that you're doing.
Yeah, you guys are awesome.
And we miss you, Mama.
I just want to say thank you.
Thank you.
If you'd like to thank America's frontline and essential workers with us, visit everyoneknowsahero.com. Quicken Loans, LLC, NMLS number 3030, licensed in 50 states. Each legal entity that identifies themselves as part of the Rock family of companies are separate legal entities with their own governance and management structures.
I owed the IRS $10,000.
The IRS garnished my wages.
They put a lien on my house. The IRS is the most powerful collection agency in the world. They do not give up until you pay.
I couldn't sleep. We were being audited. I called Tax Solutions Now, and a great big weight was lifted off my shoulders.
I called Tax Solutions Now, and they got the IRS off my back.
Tax Solutions Now had my wage garnishment lifted in 48 hours.
Tax Solutions Now can get you help. Our agents know the rules, can stop the pain, and get you the best deal. We connect you with a team of former IRS agents and tax professionals who will get the IRS off your back.
We saved our home and overcame the most powerful collection agency in the world.
Call Tax Solutions now. Time is running out. Call 800-296-9744. 800-296-9744. 800-296-9744. 800-296-9744.
You're going on a trip, but where are you going to stay? How much will it cost? Well, it'll cost less by booking on besthotelrates.com. BestHotelRates.com works with all the top hotels in the country while delivering you great hotel and room choices for the best prices. Why wait? Go to BestHotelRates.com, enter your email address, and start shopping for your next hotel room. BestHotelRates.com, it's in the name. BestHotelRates.com.
My name is Megan Eddings, founder and CEO of Excel Lifestyle. Research shows that wearing a face mask drastically reduces the spread of the coronavirus. Excel Lifestyle's Prima antibacterial face masks are soft, washable, and double layer for added protection. To purchase you and your loved one's face mask, please go to excellifestyle.com. That's ACCEL lifestyle.com. Once we receive your order, we will ship your masks out immediately. Thank you and stay safe.
Scratching beneath the surface. It's The Second Level on SB Nation Radio.
And on SBNationRadio.com.
Presented by Rocket Mortgage by Quicken Loans. From the O'Reilly Auto Parts Studios, here's Eitan Shander.
I don't know if you saw this, but the Cowboys have a starting quarterback. I kid.
Yeah, they do.
How much fun was that over the weekend?
Should I have thrown that in fake news?
Yes. Something about Dak Prescott and now watching Andy Dalton take over.
Having to compete for a job.
Yeah, now that
Texas native Andy Dalton.
I love it.
Houston's own.
You know, in reality, it is a smart move as a backup, and I can't believe Andy Dalton is just throwing the towel in right now. But hey, that's fine. I think Winston really believes he can come back, and that's cool. But Andy Dalton is going the opposite direction. It's just great because of all teams, it was the Cowboys, and of all people, it was Dak Prescott, and of all owners, it's Jerry Jones. And I just don't know anybody outside of Cowboys fans who didn't have fun with that. I had a lot of fun with that, mainly because Cowboys fans had a lot of fun at the expense of me week before that. All right, so let's recap here. Fake news. Let's go through the stories real quick.
An invasion of murder hornets are on their way.
Which we already know is true. If you were listening to Eitan Shander, 6 to 9 Eastern on Saturday, you got about 8 minutes on the murder hornets.
Yeah. Watch the video, by the way. There's a video circulating right now. Watch this guy get stung. Purposefully get stung. It's not a pretty sight. Well, I mean,
no, I don't want to see. That's like watching the Alex Smith. I don't want to see the Alex Smith thing.
Okay, here's the thing: you don't really see anything. You see this hornet just stabbing him in the arm, but it's the scream and the excruciating pain the guy is going through that you see afterwards that'll probably drive a little fear of these murder hornets in you.
Let me be honest. I already have fear of them. I don't need to see a video to confirm my fear of something called a murder hornet.
Not only that, have you seen the size of them? And these guys look like Pokemon characters, like something you'd be catching with a Pokemon ball out in the wild.
Okay, well, it's definitely real. We know that. What's story
huge.
2? Yes, they are huge. They're 2 inches.
The Raiders had to bribe Jamarcus Russell with cheeseburgers to make him watch film.
I still think this is the fake story only because you tweak something and it's probably going to be a different meal, or they probably bribed him with something other than food. But that's story 2.
Story 3, Clint Boyer has been suspended indefinitely following a circulated photo on social media showing he had been drinking during NASCAR's latest iRace event.
Do we know how he finished in the iRacing event?
I have no idea.
I wonder if the guy won the damn thing. Belligerent.
Maybe that's the way to go.
Seriously, it's a simulator. It's not like you have to go anywhere. All right, that's story 3.
Story 4, the Miami Dolphins CEO Tom Garkinkel has laid out some initial plans of how they're going to accomplish social distancing at Hard Rock Stadium this upcoming season. Some of the ideas are certain times for fans to arrive and exiting the stadium, much like people leave church, 1 row at a time.
Okay, I believe that to be true based on what I've seen in the Taiwan Baseball League, in Japan, even down in New Zealand, Australia, trying to resume some local leagues. So with all of that said, I'm going to say story 2 is fake, but it's based on a true story.
Man, you know what? I mean, you had 3 to choose from.
And I still got it wrong.
And you still got it wrong.
Yeah.
No, Jamarcus Russell was definitely bribed by his teammates with cheeseburgers.
Wait, his teammates? I thought it was coaching staff.
No, teammates. I just said Raiders.
Oh, all right.
But his teammates had to bribe him with cheeseburgers in order to get him to watch film. And not only that, would you care to venture the amount of cheeseburgers they had to bribe him with?
More or less than the amount of chicken tenders that will come in the 3 pounds of chicken tenders today from Whole Foods.
I believe it'll be less than the amount, which, by the way, I need to revise my answer because...
Why don't you revise your answer?
Like a dad, I was thinking nuggets.
No. I tried to get nuggets, wings, a thing called nibblers, and the only thing they have are tenders.
You were going through the list. I heard nuggets and you said tenders. Now, here's the thing I also need to know. Are they breaded or skinless?
No, they're breaded and fried.
Breaded and fried. So then my guess would be I will put it at, you know what? In honor of Jordan, I'll say 23.
All right. Now
you can go plus or minus on 23.
I'll go under 23, but that's definitely under the amount of cheese. Unless they're White Castle burgers, that's an under. Nobody's giving him 23 Big Macs.
No. But they were giving him 10 to sit through film.
Here's the thing about the cheeseburger, okay? The cheeseburger is a cheap option, right?
Yes.
Even when you go to a nice restaurant that serves a burger, they're going to spice it up and add other things to it. But it's always a cheap option. So if you're going to get 10 fast food burgers, I think that just is a terrible, terrible out for you to just get somebody to buy you fast food. Like if I'm going to get free burgers, I'd make sure that I went to, at the time they were in Oakland, right? I would make sure that I would get the best, fanciest steakhouse that also serves a burger, and make sure it's like, top end burger. What the heck do I need somebody else to buy me 10 fast food burgers?
I don't know. I guess he never wanted to watch film, so they bribed him. They would bribe him with bacon cheeseburgers from Wendy's.
Oh,
to be more specific.
What a low bar Russell has.
Yeah.
I expected a man of that size and stature physically to have better taste in food.
Well, I mean, that was kind of the sign of, where that guy was going to go, right?
Probably. Yes, that should have been an indicator. That was the Easter egg.
The fake story was the Clint Boyer story.
Oh, man.
Although I will say this, would not surprise me if one of them was drinking and driving during one of these simulated races.
Yeah, and I think that would be awesome to see that. I think
I just don't think it's leaked out at all.
I agree.
So Clint Boyer is not, for all you NASCAR fans that are listening, Clint Boyer is not suspended.
Nope, not suspended.
At least not yet.
Although I was definitely hoping. All right, you have to hear the weather report that a lot of people missed. We'll play that before we get out of here. Also, there's a cut from The Last Dance that featured Michael Jordan's thoughts. It was really cool to see this. Michael Jordan's thoughts on Kobe Bryant. And I see William Hill has released John Harbaugh as the Harbaugh last year is now 18-1. Belichick is the 17-2 favorite to win the NFL Coach of the Year. Bruce Arians behind him at 12-1. And a lot of it is associated with the belief that Belichick is going to lead that Patriots team, sans Brady, to another division title, at the very least, back to the playoffs.
Honestly, that's a weird belief.
Yeah,
I think okay,
if
he'll make it to the playoffs, but
that's the thing. If Belichick, Ron, think of this: if Belichick, without Brady, leads that team to a 9-7 record, and they're the 5 seed in the East,
right?
I think he wins Coach of the Year.
No,
I'm telling. Bruce Arians would have to do better in Tampa to beat out Belichick. But people would look and say, "Oh, but who else?" Truly Kyle Shanahan just led a team to the Super Bowl.
But does it have to be a
Mike McCarthy ain't doing it?
No, it's not gonna be Mike McCarthy, but does it have to be like one of those like heartfelt stories, like, oh my God, he came out of nowhere? No. But if you were to do that, I would almost say, well, I'm just curious, where's funny enough that first name that popped in my mind, where's Cliff Kingsbury?
Well, it's funny enough you say that, because Kingsbury is tied with 3 other guys, including Mike McCarthy, for the third lowest odds at 14-1. So you have 17-2. The odds-on favorite is Belichick, then Bruce Arians, and then you have that core of Shanahan, Frank Reich, Kingsbury, and Mike McCarthy.
See, because I'm liking Kingsbury. I mean, as long as they can get that defense going, the addition of DeAndre Hopkins is a game changer on offense.
I agree. There's going to be something there, but the division, I think you look at
No. I know the division is going to be tough, but I think they're going to be able to hang out with some of the bigger boys, Seattle and San Francisco and LA.
I can see Kingsbury coming in second or third in the voting this year. Whatever they do would be enough to put him on the map to where he probably sets the table.
It'll be a much bigger jump. I mean, I think third lowest is not a good spot for him.
I will say,
no, Ron Rivera's not going to do anything.
No, I will say one thing I really like, and I'm starting to like even more, is as a little birdie here in Philadelphia who was dead on with a lot of stuff, including telling me to take the Niners to win the division conference and be in the Super Bowl in mid-October. But I can't say this locally, but I'm really starting to like Dak at plus 1,200 for MVP. Just watch. Now, I don't know how that transfers over to Mike McCarthy at 14-1. But the value for Dak this year.
Are you saying he's playing with a chip on his shoulder?
I'm just saying he's playing with so many people, talent around him, with 3 wide receivers, that he's going to put up a ton of numbers. And I don't think that he's the best quarterback in the NFL, but I think that he's going to get the benefit. No, but I think he's going to get the benefit when he puts up 5,000 plus, 38 to 43 touchdowns, and doesn't throw many picks.
But isn't he still working on a contract?
Yeah, absolutely.
That's going to be a huge distraction for him, especially now that they just brought in Andy Dalton, who we all know is a bona fide starter in the NFL. We're not saying a good one.
We're just
saying he's a bona fide starter.
He's
in the
waiting to take his job. Andy Dalton, that first interception. Man, I thought I had it bad here in Philadelphia with Jalen Hurts, who, for all intents and purposes, ain't playing at all until Carson Wentz shows sign of injury. But, man, this thing with Dak Prescott, especially with the contract, it's like, did they not see the optics of this move and anticipate that social media and so many other people would have comments on this? All right, let's listen to Michael Jordan. This is from The Last Dance. Talk about Kobe, a very, very young Kobe Bryant in the All-Star game.
I don't think you guys want to take everybody one-on-one. I know, right? Kobe. Yeah. He don't let the game come to him. He just go out there and take it. I'm gonna make this a one-on-one game. I figure after the first 4 attempts, after the first 4 attempts, if I was a teammate, I wouldn't pass you. Hey, you want this ball again, brother? You better rebound.
How great is that? That's Michael Jordan talking about a young Michael Jordan. That's not Michael Jordan talking about just Kobe Bryant. That's Michael Jordan talking about himself. He just doesn't realize it. But anybody who saw Jordan play at a younger age, college, where he was looked at in those years, those short years that he played at UNC as one of the top talents to come out of college in a long time, knew that was the mentality. And it wasn't just, I'm going to score and I can score on anybody and I can put up some insane highlights and crazy dunks that was first 4 or 5 years of him in the league. It was treating other people that same way, knowing damn well if Paxson or Kerr or anybody else, Ho Grant or Cartwright or Tony anybody, right, came down the floor and missed a couple shots, that was it. Like, that was it. And you had to be Jordan. Kobe had to be Jordan level in order to, because a lot of people will gun themselves out of it. It was fascinating for me to see that and watch it and hear that cut and think, yeah, it's great to see how everybody viewed Kobe Bryant. And we know what Kobe became. We know how Kobe lived up to every single word of that. Doesn't let the game come to him. He creates the game. He enforces the game. He instills everything. He puts it on other people. What he's going to do, he puts it on other people. And Jordan looks at that. It's the old adage, right? Remember, and I'll just use an example, okay? Group of friends, high school, college, whatever, younger. And one of your friends says, hey, I got a new neighbor, man. Wait until you meet him. He's just like you. You'll love him, just like you. And you're not like your buddy because, you're different personalities, but this new person comes in and you don't click. There's something, I don't like that guy. I don't like her. Whatever the thing is. Because you share so many personality traits, similarities. And if you look at it like competition, and Jordan looks at everybody like competition, then you don't appreciate it to that level. You just say, it's not going to work. It's not going to work. Only I can do it. And that's the mentality that Jordan had. That's the mentality that Kobe had, that LeBron, that everybody at the top has. Fascinating insight.
Which, by the way, that competition in Jordan, that gave us the best line of the night.
Which was?
Do you think you have a gambling problem at all?
No, because I can stop gambling. I have a competition problem, a competitive problem.
Yeah, how many T-shirts is that going to be on soon? I have a competition problem.
If Nike doesn't have that out right now, what are they really doing? If Nike doesn't have a hashtag, I have a competition problem T-shirt out, is this really real? Is this not just a simulation we're living in?
With another hashtag that says, suck it, Adidas.
Exactly. Yeah, Adidas got burned. A bunch of people got burned.
Well, the Adidas burned themselves. Well, that was self-inflicted.
Absolutely. And I think that if you look at the history of that shoe company, there are some pretty big misses that they've lost out on. Not as big as Big Baller Brand, but it's been there. All right, at Shander Show, at Ron 2Ns Culver, twitch.tv/Shander Show. We'll wrap the hour next year on the second level.
Wake up call. Who as a country do we trust enough to, when they go, you can go back to work, you can go to sports arenas, that we go, absolutely, thanks.
Is it Dr. Fossey?
Is it him? Because he's like, we may never be able to shake hands ever again.
Why is your Dr. Fossey voice one step away from Gilbert Gottfried?
I know, right? On the one hand, I want to know what the other hand is doing. And my Dr. Fauci impression is more like, well, it's more like if you have two people in a room, it's better if one of them leaves. So in the future, let's say you're taking your family to a restaurant and there's 4 of you. It's better to just get 4 tables.
All right, now, do you have a show that you hate watch
please
through
limit
it?
the visitation to maybe once every 2
We
weeks.
probably won't have much time.
Nah.
But do you have a
To
show
keep
like
this
you must have hate watched?
under
If you didn't
control.
fail, then you
Wake
must
Up
have hate
Call
watched.
with Tony D and Ron Culver. Weekday mornings. Pharrell
Coast to coast. People used to say, oh, that Pharrell guy, he's on late at night. He doesn't matter. Well, how do you like them apples? Now I'm on 4 to 6 p.m. Eastern on SB Nation, and we're going to cut everybody down like trees everywhere. It doesn't matter if it's afternoons, nights, mornings, weekends. Pharrell Coast to Coast rules.
Pharrell Coast to Coast with Scott Pharrell. Weekdays from 4 p.m. to 6 p.m. Eastern. The second level. The second level.
This level of hatred really isn't duplicated in sports. Yeah, you can be indoctrinated into the UNC Duke stuff while you're there. You're constantly seen and immersed in it all. No. And again, it's not even the jersey. What's beyond that? This level of hatred. 2 Hall of Famers two of the best that have ever played their respective positions, and in MJ's case, the best ever, if you want to have that argument without centers, right? So all of this compounded by the pettiness that drove MJ to keep Isaiah off the Olympic team. Again, you don't find that in sports. This isn't just Tobacco Road and the rivalry that's UNC and Duke. Of course, that's one of the oldest and one of the go-to rivalries, but hatred, I think, supersedes a rivalry.
The Second Level, weekdays from 11 a.m. to 1 p.m. Eastern.
Wake up call. Every time whenever I did karaoke in the days, I used to do Mac the Knife because I just like singing that song. And I stink at singing, but it's just fun.
Except in the shower in the car.
Yes.
That's when you're Frank Sinatra.
Oh, that's right. Of course. That's when you're Frank Sinatra. When you're in the shower and driving around in the car.
Funny, true fact. The other thing that happens in the shower, you win 100% of the arguments.
That's right. That's a good point.
Wake Up Call with Tony D and Ron Culver. Weekday mornings. You're listening to The Second Level on SB Nation Radio.
And on SBNationRadio.com.
Presented by Rocket Mortgage by Quicken Loans. From the O'Reilly Auto Parts Studios, with way more than the scores. Here's Eitan Shander.
So one thing that you probably missed over the weekend, because it wasn't even in the fake news with Ron, is this awful idea to turn Terry Bradshaw and his family into reality TV stars. Who cares enough, or even in a pandemic, I can't find time. Even during a quarantine where I'm told to stay at home, and now at least I can go out and play golf here in PA.
I would so watch that.
There is nothing interesting at all about Terry Bradshaw.
Did you ever watch, I can't remember what the name of the show was, when Terry was off with William Shatner and George Foreman? You ever watch that show?
No.
Oh, you should. It's fantastic. I mean, it's a reality show. It's great.
No, Terry Bradshaw doesn't do reality. He does scripted Fox Sports humor.
Well, watch this. I think that show would kind of be fun. Besides, have you seen Terry's Daughters?
I don't. There are things on the internet now that are free. You don't need to be paying for stuff.
Hey, I'm just saying, check them out.
I guarantee I could find 50 women more attractive than Bradshaw's daughter, and it's not justifiable to watch that show. All right. When does this thing come out?
Don't disrespect TB12.
Yes, he's done. I'm out on the Bradshaw reality
Game
show.
Time Decisions.
What's up, everybody? No, but seriously, have you seen his daughters? He did very well.
No, yeah. Well, his wife is pretty. His wife, but she's great. Like she's the attraction in the show, right?
We'll be back.
Because she's the one who's nuts.
He's a little bit on this side of crazy. That makes it
yeah,
entertaining.
but he's going to say something.
Weekday, 6 o'clock.
Like he'll say something that's like veiled.